Hey, what's happening, guys? Mike from MetaComix here with another episode of Digging Deeper, a show where we take a closer look at some of the themes in comic books and how they affect our lives and culture. Today we're going to talk about Sheriff Hardy from Southern Bastards and the topic of moral compromise and the kind of impact that has on a person's life. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. So last week I was reading the latest issue of Southern Bastards, which is a great series from writer Jason Aaron, published by Image, and I was blown away by the setup to the new story arc, which focuses heavily on Sheriff Hardy. Hardy was a former ex-football star on his way to glory and fame as a college player when he made a choice that would alter the course of his destiny forever. Hardy decided to compromise his morals and values by helping the evil Coach Boss cover up a murder, an act which would come back to haunt him for the rest of his life in every way imaginable. Not long after making this choice, Coach Boss decided that having someone so easily corrupted and controlled under his thumb was something he just couldn't do without, so he had a bunch of bad dudes bust up Hardy's knee, ending his football career forever, preventing him from going away to college. Coach Boss manipulated the local community and helped Hardy become sheriff, a position that proved to be super advantageous for him, as Hardy pretty much just became a minion doing his bidding. Over the course of the latest issue, Hardy tries repeatedly to do the right thing, to stand up to Coach Boss, but he simply doesn't have the strength or personal character to stand on what's right, which is a major theme of the comic. Sheriff Hardy's story struck me so hard because I feel like we're living in a day and age that's pretty much ruled by moral compromise in one form or another. It seems as if people today aren't concerned about standing up for what's true or right, but simply go along with the majority just to look cool or be accepted, without really weighing out whether or not the majority is right or wrong. There are many times when people will applaud something that's clearly wrong from a moral standpoint just because they're afraid of what the majority will do to them for not going along with popular opinion, so they compromise out of fear. Much like Sheriff Hardy in Southern Bastards, who fears the consequences and ramifications of crossing Coach Boss. Now, to be fair, doing the right thing isn't always easy. Matter of fact, most of the time it's actually really hard. Doing what's right, especially when doing so isn't a popular option, is typically very costly. It might cost you friendships, it might get you made fun of, it might mean people verbally abuse you in horrible ways you couldn't previously imagine. Given that reality, it's easy to see why so many are tempted to give in and compromise on their beliefs or on doing the right thing. However, just because doing the right thing is difficult and costly doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. Let me give you an example. I used to sell insurance. Worst job on the planet. It will literally eat your soul if you let it. And some of the folks I worked with were used to compromising to get things done. They did a lot of unethical things and tried to get me on board and participate in what they were doing to make our branch look good to corporate. I was told if I refused to get on board with what they were doing, I should quit. I was told this by my boss, the man in charge. So basically it came down to doing something I knew was wrong, what the majority in the office were doing, or quit and lose my job, my source of income needed to support my family. I agonized over this for a week or two, but finally decided to quit. I just couldn't compromise who I am and what I believe in to make a buck. My personal integrity and character was far more important than the job. Doing the right thing was costly, but in the end it was the best decision I could have made. I'm reminded of a quote from my favorite hero of all time, Captain America, who said, "This nation was founded on one principle above all else, the requirement that we stand up for what we believe, no matter the odds or the consequences. When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move." In a world where compromise has become normal, it's more imperative than ever that we heed the words of Captain America and learn to stand firm on what's right, whether it's the popular thing to do or not. With brutality in all forms seemingly accepted due to the apathy of good men and women, the time for morally strong and uncompromising heroes is at hand. The question you have to ask yourself is, where do you stand?